testing out some new software for the live stream today. So hey guys, testing out some new software and new setup for the live stream today. So hopefully this is a little bit better than what I was using before. Hopefully there's not too much lag. We're going to give it a shot as best we can. So I wanted to jump in and make a video since the Bitcoin ETF did get approved officially by the SEC the other day. So all 11 or so ETFs got approved across the board on the same day, and it's off to the races. They went live this past Thursday for trading, and the news reported that there was over 4.5 billion in inflows on the first day. It was seen as very successful, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to address that a little bit and then talk in more details about what we can expect going forward. So the 4.5 billion that was considered as inflows, a lot of that was funds coming out of heavily discounted or trading at a discount GBTC, and then moving into BlackRock and Vanguard and some of the other new ETF products. So it wasn't a flood of money coming in on day one. It was more so money moving around. However, it was still considered to be the biggest launch of an ETF in history, just for a category overall. So a lot of people thought that there was going to be tons of money coming in on day one, and that just isn't necessarily the case. Most of the institutions and most of the financial advisors and planners, et cetera, they're not deep in the crypto trenches, so to speak, like us. And they aren't even necessarily going to know about Bitcoin ETF coming out until most likely when they read it in Barron's this weekend on Saturday morning type of setup. So that being the case, money is going to come in likely consistently over time, not so much all in an avalanche all at once over the coming months and throughout the rest of the year, and then probably even more so next year. It's not going to be all this month and all of a sudden we're going to see a massive move in Bitcoin, at least not from the ETF news. So that being said, this is still very positive. And if you take a look at what the markets have been reacting to, at least the Bitcoin chart has been reacting to the news, it actually pulled back a little bit. There's a lot of hype around this launch, and a lot of the smart money, quote unquote, is now moving into Ethereum from Bitcoin rather than holding Bitcoin. And that is because Ethereum is expected to be the next ETF. And they're trying to front run that now that the news has come out that the Bitcoin ETFs have been approved. So there's a lot of talk and communication that Bitcoin or the Ethereum ETF could potentially come around May, which still gives us a few months yet. We're still in January here when I'm making this video. So likely we're going to see a few months of chop, and then ETH is going to hold fairly strong, in my opinion, even during this sideways period leading up until the halving. Usually things start to get more exciting around the halving in the cycle in general, and I don't see any reason that that has changed in any way. So now that the Bitcoin ETF news is out of the way, I think we can refocus a little bit more on our game plans and not watching the markets on a minute by minute basis, so to speak, expecting some massive move to happen in Bitcoin. Could it still be further up from here? Yes, but more likely than not, it's going to be choppy and somewhat sideways for a few months leading up until the halving. In my opinion, ETH's going to stay strong with the money moving over into it. We may see ETH rally once or twice, or at least hold its value quite well, and continue to go up here against its value in Bitcoin for the remainder of the cycle. I do think Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin from this point forward. And then once it comes time for the large cap alts to have their alt season, quote unquote, likely after the halving and into either the summer into the fall next year, maybe even later. It all depends on how the liquidity cycle plays out and how the elections impact things. But then we'll start seeing things like Solana and Cardano and Polkadot and Matic, coins like that really start to have another 5x, 10x towards that portion of the cycle. So I just wanted to address that a little bit, just to give my perspective on things and kind of manage expectations coming off of this news coming out. Moving forward, I think the next few months are a great time to accumulate ETH, to accumulate large cap alts, and to top up your degen bag if you've got smaller micro caps that make up 5 or 10% of your portfolio. This is going to be your time to buy that at decent price points before things start to really take off post halving, in my opinion. Now, there's likely to be some money printing, and that is going to be due to the 2024 election. So closer to election time, I do feel over the summer and going into the fall, there's going to be some stimulus or some printing of some sort to stimulate markets. So that way Trump can't criticize Biden and the current government too much on the stock market performance as well as economic outlooks going into the election. So that I am expecting. And also interest rate cuts are being talked about quite a bit by almost everybody in the space, even the large asset managers. Everyone does expect multiple rate cuts this year, even though inflation came through slightly higher than expected the other day. There's still likely to be the first rate cut sometime between March and June, extremely likely, and there could be anywhere from 3 to 5 throughout the year. So that combined with stimulus, combined with the halving and the overall macro cycle, more liquidity coming into the markets and things picking up from here over the next 12, 18, 24 months. It's a great combination coming off of this ETF news for those that are already in the markets or getting into the markets and further position themselves now. So that's about it. I didn't want to take too long, but I just wanted to address what can be expected moving forward from here. I know some of my students are going to be watching this, and you guys are heavily into NFTs, a lot of you, and you're probably going to ask, when are NFTs going to run? So I'm not going to address that for longer than 30 seconds, but I will say this. NFTs are largely on Ethereum, and if they're not on Ethereum, the majority of the rest of them are on Solana. Bitcoin has to run before ETH runs. When ETH's value is propped up, then usually the people that made the gains from that start to shift that over into assets below ETH. So that's ETH-based coins, other large cap L1s like Solana, and into NFTs. So while NFT volume will gradually pick up as the cycle starts to take off, especially post halving, you will see the biggest bumps in NFT values and NFT trading once Ethereum has considerably moved from here and continues to outperform Bitcoin. So in my opinion, we may see little spurts, a little rallies, but for those looking for timing, so to speak, of a big move in NFT values, in my opinion, that's going to come a little bit later. So whether that's later in the summer or into the fall, or even a bit past that towards the end of the year, that's when I am, in my opinion, I think that's a lot more likely to be happening rather than the next couple of months. Not to say there's not opportunity now, but just in general, liquidity coming from ETH into NFTs, that's kind of when things have taken place before and then what one would expect. So that's it for now. This is Chris with Deep Fried Crypto. Thanks for popping into the live stream. It's a little less formal and polished than the ones I was doing before. Let me know if the quality on this has been okay. If this new live stream software and setup is a little bit smoother experience for you. And if it is, I will keep using it. If you don't mind and you enjoy this content and you found it useful, click that subscribe button, give me a like, and give me a comment with your thoughts on this or anything you'd like me to make a video for going forward. I have been digging into airdrops a bit more as of late on different chains. So aside from live streams, my next video coming out will likely be surrounding that. Some ways that people that don't have a lot of capital can get into some of these airdrops to potentially get a few thousand, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands in essentially free money for taking action on some of these platforms and some of these chains now. And you'll be able to put that to work into other investments later in the cycle, so you can really change your financial situation. So look up for that in the next video. Next live stream will be coming soon as there's some information that I think is important that I want to cover for you. Till then, thank you. Appreciate you joining me. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and comment. I'll catch you soon. Cheers.